A question I get asked frequently is, do I brush my cat's teeth, and if so, how do I do it? And the answer is yes. Teeth brushing is a part of our regular grooming routine, and it's very important to maintain your cat's dental health. When Eevee and Yoshi were kittens, I was learning about all of the things I should do to keep them healthy, and I realized if I didn't do regular teeth care at home, they would need to go in for regular cleanings. And that just sounded like a traumatic experience for me and the cats. So I wanted to learn how to do the most I can at home to minimize the need for that procedure. I also started learning about conditions like tooth resorption and periodontal disease, which ragdolls can be more susceptible to. These can cause severe pain and other serious issues and even require tooth removal. All of this was obviously frightening to read about, so I was determined to support their dental health as best as I could to prevent these problems. From what I learned, the most effective way to keep their teeth healthy was regular brushing. So I got this teeth brushing kit from Petrodex on Amazon and tried it out. They were about 5 to 6 months old at the time. I figured the younger the better to start good habits. Eevee was all about it. She has been a 5-star dental patient since day one. She got so excited every time I pulled it out and had a great time with it, so that was a huge win for me. She really liked the independence factor, so I put the paste on the brush and kinda let her brush herself. She was very thorough about it, getting her tongue and front teeth and back teeth, and she even started asking for it. She even made the connection between me brushing my own teeth and her doing her teeth. So when I would get ready for bed at night, she would sprint over, jump up to the counter, and meow at me until I got her toothbrush out too. This next clip was from July 2021, and she was about a year old. Since she loved doing it herself and taking control and seemed to be getting all the areas of her mouth thoroughly, this is how we did her brushing routine for quite a while. Yoshi, on the other hand, is a whole other story. Early on, he never got on board with it. He never had interest in doing it like Eevee did and wouldn't let me brush them myself. We were dealing with a lot of issues the first year of their life, like ringworm and other sicknesses, and Yoshi was having a pretty tough time in general. I didn't want to push him too much to do something he clearly hated, so I backed off for a little, hoping that watching his sister enjoy it and get treats would eventually change his mind. After a while, I realized he wouldn't come around by himself and I needed to take action while they were still young. He is terrified of leaving the house, so he especially would be traumatized by teeth cleanings at the vet. So I knew I had to start helping him become more comfortable with the idea of it. If you've been following our TikTok account for a while, you know that I conditioned Eevee to not be afraid of water since that was the one thing she hated the most. From February to April of 2022, I worked with her every single day on it with huge success. If you're interested, I also uploaded the series compiled into one YouTube video as well. The consistency and patience worked wonders with her, so I decided to try a similar tactic with Yoshi on teeth brushing. In May and June of 2022, I started posting weekly updates with Yoshi to help keep me accountable. I knew it was going to be tough, so I wanted to make sure I sat down with him every single day and record it so I could keep track of the progress. I did this every morning before leaving for work, so yes, it is possible to be consistent with training even with a full-time job. As you can tell, he did not like doing this at all. This next update was in August, and we finally started seeing some progress. It was a learning process for all of us, and it took a lot of figuring out what worked best for him. If you've been following my page for a while, you know that I'm trying to train my cat Yoshi to let me brush his teeth. It's been a little while since I posted an update because I realized what I was doing was not working. My cat Eevee, on the other hand, absolutely loves brushing her teeth. I always offer Yoshi his toothbrush after I'm done doing Eevee's, but in the past he's had no interest. In the last week or so, he seemed to have changed his mind though. Yoshi is very food motivated and loves praise. So I think he got a little jealous of Eevee getting those things after brushing her teeth and realized it was worth a try. He started biting the toothbrush all on his own, which he had never done before, and I'm so proud of him. He's a fast learner and I can't wait to see the progress he makes from here. And thanks to Eevee for showing him the way. What really helped him was watching Eevee and me offering a toothbrush to him after every time Eevee brushed hers. He eventually wanted to be included and definitely wanted some Treatos and praise. Sometimes training two cats is easier than one because they watch and learn from each other. That's honestly how they learned a lot of their tricks, is from each other. Anyway, he wasn't as thorough as her when biting the toothbrush, but I was just so proud of him for even trying baby steps. I really wanted to make sure that the brushing was effective enough, so I started looking into changing their routine a bit. Eevee really loved the independence she had, so I didn't want to take that away, so I went for a hybrid model of both me and them brushing. I started laying them down in my lap and brushing their teeth myself and then letting them do it after. Eevee had no issues with this, she just thinks the whole act of teeth brushing is fun, so this worked well for her. I felt like I got them clean enough and she got to do her part too, which made her happy. For Yoshi though, this created new challenges. He was not about me brushing his teeth for him and didn't really let me do much before he ran away. There were a few times too that he totally scratched me up on his way out, so I could tell we needed to take it slow. I started with one tooth and it took many sessions for him to be comfortable with me brushing that one tooth. Once he seemed to relax a little, I tried migrating to a second tooth, but he said, "No way, Jose," almost as if he was like, "That's not what we practiced, Mom." So it took another few sessions to get him to let me comfortably brush 2 teeth. Now he is pretty good about all 4 of his canine teeth, but he still struggles a bit with the ones in the back of his mouth, which is totally understandable. Regarding toothpaste, Eevee was a huge fan of the Petrodex one we started with, which was a malt flavor. It was like a treat to her. One day I went to go buy a new kit, but it was no longer available on Amazon, so I realized this might not be a long-term toothpaste if it's not always accessible. This was also around the time I started getting more strict with their diets and avoiding unnecessary ingredients in their food and other products. In researching other toothpaste options, I started learning that the ingredients in pet toothpaste are not really regulated, and I didn't really trust that it was 100% safe, especially since they're basically eating it. I was not comfortable with the fact that an activity that was supposed to be healthy and beneficial for them may be harming them in other ways. Then I learned that coconut oil makes a great natural pet toothpaste, and I was instantly sold. I already had that on hand anyway, so easy peasy. In researching, I also learned that coconut oil has many other benefits for cats as well, so it sounded like a win-win. At first, Eevee wasn't too fond of it and really wanted the other toothpaste instead, but I persisted, and within a few sessions, she grew to really like it, so that was a relief. The biggest win of this toothpaste change, though, was with Yoshi. It turns out he loves coconut oil, and this was really the turning point for him. He started becoming excited for it and didn't dread it anymore. He does still get a little nervous when I brush his back teeth, and he does this hilariously adorable thing where he holds my arm with his arms, but he doesn't try to run away or anything. He's a very good boy, and he kind of just lets it happen. Holding on to my arm just makes him feel more comfortable about it, I guess. But he really likes brushing his own teeth now. He'll chew on the brush for a long time, rather than just giving a few courteous bites to make me happy like he was doing before. Like, he genuinely loves the coconut flavor and will brush his own teeth for minutes after I do it. Discovering his love for coconut oil made such a difference and has made this whole process so much easier. Regarding the type of toothbrush we use, I used to use the brushes that looked like this since it's what came with the Petrodex kit and Eevee seemed to really like it. Neither of them have been a fan of the rubber finger brushes, but I do still have them though because it would be helpful if I need to look inside their mouth and need to protect my fingers. Being the anxious cat mom I am, I started getting nervous with this type of toothbrush though because they really chew on it and I didn't want them to pull out the bristles and swallow them. Also, it only has bristles on one side, which means when they chew on it, only the top or bottom of their mouth is getting brushed and the other side is just hard plastic. I found these on Amazon that are round, so all sides are brushing at once, and it has more securely attached silicone bristles instead. I love these so much. I feel like they're gentler on their mouths and lets them brush more effectively on the top and bottom, and I'm less worried about them ingesting bristles. This is the perfect toothbrush for letting them brush on their own. For the brushing that I do before that, I found this small business called Cat that makes specialized cat toothbrushes that are perfect for cats' small teeth. This makes it really easy to brush individual teeth accurately and effectively. It also has this other end for more precise cleaning, but I haven't used it much yet. The round toothbrush I mentioned before also comes with this type of brush as well. So these are the 2 tools I use and they work great. Do you want to brush your teeth? Do you want to brush your teeth? Finally, to explain the whole process, I get a little bit of coconut oil out of the container and put a little on the toothbrush. Then I lay down each cat one at a time on my lap and do my brushing first. They normally like to lick the coconut oil, which I let them do because it makes them happy and cleans their tongues. There's still some left on the brush anyway after for me to brush with, but if not, I can also just dip it back in the coconut before I start brushing. They do very good about it since it's part of our routine at this point. They know to wait their turn, but sometimes they like to watch and help while it's the other's turn. I try not to push them past their limits, so if they're not feeling it, I don't force them to stay long. I want them to have a positive association with it and not be scared of it. Once I'm done, I tell them they did a good job and give them a treat. Normally, I like to use slow-cooked plain chicken if possible since it's a high-value reward to them and I don't feel like it gets their teeth too dirty right after brushing. After I do that with both of them, I let them do their own brushing. It works better if I let them both do it at the same time since they love it and they get impatient if they have to wait and watch the other one. They'll try to butt in and take over the other's toothbrush, so I try to do this simultaneously. Once that's done, I give them the rest of the coconut oil since it's beneficial for them, especially with hairballs, which Eevee suffers from often. The fact that they love it is great because it acts as their treat for being done, but also kind of cleans their teeth and mouth even more when eating it. They never have bad breath, so if your kitty's mouth is stinky, then brushing their teeth, especially with coconut oil, might help. As far as frequency, we do this about once or twice a week. Consistency is key. If I went a few weeks without doing it, I feel like Yoshi would backtrack. Cats thrive on routine, so keeping it part of their regular schedule is important for success. I hope Yoshi's story gives you hope that even if your cat despises you touching their mouth, it is still possible to teach them to be comfortable with the teeth brushing process. I look back on how he was last year and I'm so proud of his progress. I know I'll be so glad later that I did this because as cats get older, dental health can be a hassle. Every time I take them to the vet, they get stellar feedback on their teeth, and that makes me so happy. If you watched this far, leave a toothbrush emoji in the comments to let me know. I hope listening to our experience was helpful in some way and gave you the motivation to start taking your cat's dental health seriously. I'm so thankful I've made this part of their regular routine, and I learned a lot from this process that I can use on future pets as well. Anyway, thanks for watching and happy brushing!